Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, coming at you with game number 52 of the MSL Top 100. And this is a game, as you can see there, between Reach and Savior. And, you know, I just always talk about it every time I do a Savior game, but I'll mention it one more time. That Savior, extremely strong player. One of the best Zergs of definitely of his time. Or the best Zerg of his time when he was on top, but is now considered disgraced, having been caught in match fixing. So we're not going to give him too much credit right now, but just you know, this was before the whole match fixing stuff. This was in 2006, so a little bit late, a little bit of a late game for excuse me, for some of these older games. Usually the MSL100 games are really old school, so this will be interesting to see. This is, let me see, it's actually from the round of 16 of the MSL, and I don't remember if this is one of the MSLs that Savior won, but this is definitely his strong period, so definitely a pretty extreme match going on right here between Savior and Reach right now. And yeah, by the way, I'm back. I was able to put up a few games in the last kind of week and a half or whatever as I was packing and moving and what have you, but I am now completely moved in, got my computer set up and everything, and so I am able to get back into the swing of things, and I still haven't 100% decided, you know, what I'm gonna do yet. I asked in one of my videos before, like, what should I do? And I got 5 different responses about what I should do next. So I'm just gonna kind of figure it out from here. But I will be doing a mix of different things. So I'm gonna try and make everyone happy as far as what kinds of games I'm doing. But in any case, we'll get into this game here, and yeah, and so shouldn't be like a whole week before the next time I put up a commentary this time. I should be able to do more. Although I do have a big project that I'm supposed to do by the 10th, so it might be a few days, but after that I'll be kind of back in action. In any case, we have Reach doing a Forge expansion here is what it looks like, and we'll have to see. What is that? Yeah, okay, that's right. He's gonna put it down there. I actually didn't check the map before I started this game. These MSL 100 games, they feel kind of easier because I can just pop them on. I usually do a little bit of research, but you know, sometimes it's just like I don't have the energy to like do an hour of research to get ready for a 20-minute game. So I haven't looked into this too much, but I believe this is the map that has the choke point that we're looking at right now, and then I think there's a little sort of back door as well to that choke point. We'll have to see when they expand and show more of the map. Anyway, putting down a cannon as well. So this is really interesting actually, because this is like, you know, the period when Savior was doing extremely well, right? And it was Bisu that ended up taking him down, right? It was Bisu that ended up taking him down, and it was because he had kind of perfected this special, you know, what's called the Bisu build, the special Forge Expand build. But this game that we're watching right now is being played before that build was kind of invented, or before it was perfected and exhibited by Bisu. It was later on in this same year that Bisu beat Savior. And so this is kind of interesting to see that we do have the Forge expansion is you know, still the go-to for the Protoss player, in this case Reach, who, by the way, it's also worth noting, you know, Reach is an old school player. He might be a little bit, you know, this is kind of an old versus new matchup at this time. Savior has been playing for a year or two already, but this is really when he's in his ascendancy, and Reach, though, is old school and might be considered a little bit washed up, perhaps, you know, and so this is an interesting match to see that as well. He's in the round of 16 of the MSL, so he's not, you know, washed up completely by any means, but, you know, there comes a point in a lot of these programmers' careers when they stop going to the finals and they start going to the round of 8, and then they maybe get into the round of 16, and then you stop seeing them, and so it's usually not a cutoff exactly. But this might be part of when Reach is really falling off in 2006, because I know, you know, when you get to 2008, he really wasn't competing at a high level at all. So, anyway, so we're seeing some stuff go on, but there's not really a lot going on. This is a second probe scout going in here for Reach. He really wants to find out what's going on. There are Lings on the ramp to block as well, so that's not going to amount to much. And it looks like this is not the map with the back door, actually. Never mind. So I was thinking of a different map altogether. Not super familiar with this map. Anyway, we got a Stargate going up for Reach. And again, you know, part of the Bisu build that we saw later on. Okay, wait. Oh, right. There's a choke point, and it kind of protects like 2 bases. So this is a really, really interesting map in that sense that, you know, it's really, it can be tough on a lot of maps for the Protoss to get their 3rd base. In this case, it's actually really easy for the Protoss to get their base off of 1 cannon. Very little attack army or anything like that. So although it is pretty greedy, because look, he's only got 1 cannon. His door is not even very blocked, and there's a spire going up. There is a Stargate. I actually almost would have wanted to see 2 Stargates going up, because at this point, well, if he was psychic, or if he'd gotten a scout in, more importantly, because that's, you know, we saw him try to scout very aggressively and he wasn't able to get up the ramp into the base there. So Reach doesn't know that there's a spire going up. He can suspect it's a possibility, but if he knew it was going up, he might be getting a second Stargate and try and fight with mass Corsairs. This Corsair is going to come out at the same time as the spire pops. So he's not going to be able to get the Corsair out in time to really scout effectively if there's mutas. And we might see Savior going for the mutas. If we see a bunch of eggs, there are the eggs, yes. 8 eggs right now, which is very indicative of the fact that he probably saved up for the mutas. He's going to have mutas popping out momentarily. They are going to have to go across the map, though. This first Corsair is going to be very crucial. If he loses this first Corsair scouting, well, actually, he's not even scouting. He's going after Overlords with it. So, and this is really cute, interesting. Actually, Savior going for a 6 o'clock proxy expansion. That's going to be very interesting, because then that'll be hidden very well, actually. It's not super likely that Reach will go that direction. But also it means that it's in a proxy location, so reinforcements can get to the front very easily if that happens. And there's that first Corsair is going out onto the map. It's going to find those. Oh, and he runs away from the Scourge directly into the mutas. The mutas pick off the first Corsair. And the Scourge are going to pick off a second Corsair. This is really bad for Reach. He's desperately trying to fight to get things back up now. But what has he got? He's got no forces. Is he just going to lose right now? He's got 3 Nexuses, but 3 Nexuses are not very effective against Mutalisks. He's got the robotics facility. He kind of did too much tech and not the right kind. He's getting a second Stargate up, but it's going to be too late. And Savior has completely overrun Reach's second base. He's destroyed all the cannons. He's forced away all the probes. Reach is still trying to rally a force of Corsairs he's going to camp the Stargate with the Scourge. He's desperately building cannons in the main and probably in the 3rd as well. But he is going to lose this Nexus. Savior actually targeting the Nexus down. That's really interesting. He's targeting the Nexus down instead of the pylon first to try and shut down the Stargate and the Robo and the robotics support bay upgrades if there exist. You know, which I guess they probably wouldn't at this point, but it looks like now he's going to target down the pylon, but Reach has managed to get a few Corsairs out. If he can get like 5 or 6 Corsairs, he might have enough to fight against these, but he's only got 4. He's got the shuttle out as well. He saved the shuttle, and now here's the thing. Okay, now he's going up, but the Scourge are going to target directly against the Corsairs. Beautiful splitting by Savior, and he is going to run around in circles, though. So beautiful counter micro by Reach, actually saving those Corsairs. Now he's got enough Corsairs with the Scourge gone. He can actually fight against those Mutalisks. The Mutalisks could turn and fight, but then the the Corsairs can run back to the cannons. So it's kind of a standoff in that situation. He needed those, well, he did have the Scourge to chase off the Corsairs, so that was really well done. But Reach fought against them pretty well. Savior's base has not been touched this entire time, by the way. Now here's the thing. Reach actually still has his robotic support base. Is he trying to build another set of cannons? Oh, he's trying to sneak in a 4th base, a replacement base for the second that he lost, but it's going to get caught. Is he going to be able to fend off these cannons? It looks like he is with this Corsairs. Savior doing a decent job of splitting his Mulus, but they're just all too badly damaged from previous fights, and they all get slaughtered. And suddenly, Reach is in a pretty strong position here, actually. Savior does have 5 bases, but I still feel like Reach is actually in a pretty strong spot. He's killed off all the Mutalisks. Right now, the only thing Savior has is his economy. So, you know, that's a really good thing for a Zerg to have. But his army is not very big. Reach, however, doesn't really have the means to counterattack. Like, imagine if Reach had 3 or 4 gateways up right now. He could go out with some zealots and actually do some significant harassment at these side bases. But he can't because he went for quick double expand and quick double tech. He went Stargate tech and Robo tech and 3 bases. It was like the greediest thing you could possibly do. And it's, you know, it kind of makes sense to be greedy on this map, the way it's constructed, where you can get your easy 3rd base. But still. Anyway, Reach has now really gone bullish on the Corsairs. I think he might have overdone it. It was very unlikely that... Oh, actually, Savior? Oh, here he comes in. It's trying to try and bust with Hydralisk, but there is a Reaver here. The single Hydra actually runs in between the cannons. That Reaver is going to have to do a lot of work, and so far it hasn't been touched at all. The Corsairs just stand their ground. Only 1 dies against the Scourge, and Savior has thrown away most of his army. That 1 Reaver coming out very, very quickly, and that is kind of what I was talking about. He does have the robotics facility tech still. It looks like he actually rebuilt the robotics support bay, or made a second robotics support bay, I should say, in anticipation of losing the first one of the mutas, which he didn't. But still, he was able to make that Reaver, the robotics facility, also staying intact. So Savior, you know, damaging the economy of Reach, but not damaging the tech. He kind of had a choice. He said, free Nexus or free tech buildings. He chose the Nexus instead of the tech buildings, and Reach has been able to hold off this counter push, or not counter push, but this additional push with the Hydras trying to bust down. You know, Savior knew that Reach didn't have much of a ground army at that point, and so he tried to push in with a ground force, using his economy to build a large ground force quickly. But the 1 Reaver in a great spot just did the trick. And we saw that 1 Hydra just walk right in and attack the Reaver, which means if he'd really focused, I think he could have move attacked in and actually taken out that Reaver quickly, because there was no shuttle to protect it, which could have been the key to that bust actually coming to fruition and completing its goal and getting into the 3rd base there. But it's hard to say. Anyway, Savior now is continuing to make units. You can see them on the minimap rallying across the screen, across the map rather, to kind of take a forward position. Reach has still not been able to kind of get out of his base very much. He has stopped production of the Corsairs, and oh, he finds that hidden base. He's found the 6 o'clock base now, and that is probably going to be a target for him pretty quickly. Although it's actually pretty well defended with some spores in the right spot, so he can't just drop a Reaver in there and kill everything with one unit or anything along those lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like 6 Corsairs still remain. And it looks like he's not... Whoa, whoa, whoa. Is that a fleet beacon? That is a fleet beacon, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I think we're going to see? You know what? I was actually planning on mentioning this anyway. This is a perfect time for me to mention it. I hold that thought. It looks like we might lose a Corsair here. No, he is going to fall back. And it looks like he has made 1 or 2 additional Corsairs. So he is going to be... Yeah, he's definitely making more Corsairs. He wants to maintain the air advantage. All right, so real quick. There have been a few times in my casting career when I just had a feeling, I just noticed some little pocket of strategy that was unfulfilled, and I made a call, and I think 2 out of the like 3 times, I can't remember the specifics, but I think a couple of the times it's actually happened. I actually called the Queens coming back in Brood War in like 2008 or something like that, and then very soon after, Zero started using Queens in professional play, and it became not a standard thing, but a thing that was used in pro play. Before that, you like never saw Queens, and so I am, you know, sometimes I see an opening, and I could be fairly confident in it. And I think I've been thinking about this recently, even in 2020 play. Disruption Web in PvZ. I'm calling it right now. Disruption Web in PvZ is what I'm going to call, because in these games when you have like 9+1 Corsairs, they're just sitting around with a bunch of energy doing nothing. And hold that thought, because the shuttles are in trouble. If he loses those shuttles with Reavers inside, it could be bad. Here he comes in. Are we going to see it? Are we going to see the D-Web? Is that why he got the... Oh, an ensnare! Speaking of queens, he's got a freaking queen right now. Savior's gotten a queen. He's ensnared the Corsairs and the fast shuttles. And there's the disruption web as well. That's when I saw that fleet beacon. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's for disruption web. And that's why he continued making the Corsairs as well. And so here the Corsairs are just sitting around there with all kinds of green goo on top of them. The Reaver's doing so much damage, but there's not really a lot to protect them. And they are going to be picked up back in the shuttles. The Corsairs are there to protect just in case there's... Well, I don't know what they would protect from, actually. But just kind of soaking up some extra hit points, some attacks from the Hydralisk as well. And he has so many Corsairs, actually. He's got like a dozen Corsairs. But that's exactly why I cannot believe this. I was just been thinking about this recently. I was like... thinking like the next PvZ video I'm gonna make this call, and I promise you it was not because I saw it and thought about that. I've been thinking this for a couple weeks actually. Like this is something that's been brewing in my brain while I was traveling, is disruption web. And this is really great to be able to cast this game actually, because that queen gets the ensnare down, but then and here we go, disruption web on the spore colony to protect the shuttles and the Corsairs. He could even deweb that Sunken, but instead he just kills it. Now he's going to come in here. He's going to probably, well, actually he doesn't need to deweb those spores if he doesn't want to. He can just keep them out of range, keep his units out of range, or he can just keep the shuttle within range and just have it die, I guess. That works too. Savior coming in here with a bunch of ground units just trying to break this location, but the Reavers are too strong, and look at that. He's going to actually just pick up and leave again. The spore colony is still there, and there's... Wow, huge flight of Scourge coming in to try and attack the shuttles. The Corsairs stand their ground and lose a lot of their numbers, but they save the shuttles with Reavers in it, and that is the most important part. Look at this. This is pure Sair Reaver, ladies and gentlemen. We are seeing the... Oh, man, this is just absolutely beautiful. It's so gas heavy that it's really hard to pull off, but when you have 3 free bases and you can get a 4th, which he's secured right now, you can go Sair Reaver, ladies and gentlemen. This is just absolutely one of the pinnacle strategies of Protoss play versus Zerg. It's just amazing to see this, and it is working out pretty well for Reach. Savior, on the other hand, does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's getting a 7th base right now, and that is a lot of Zerg economy. That is absolutely pretty ridiculous. And he's getting queens as well. Look at that. Look at that ensnare. Beautiful. And he disruption webs the Hydras so they can't target anything down while they're moving. He drops the Reavers out to pop them, and now he can set up shop in this new base as well with the Reavers protected. This Overlord's coming in to scout, but it's not going to do very much good. But anyway, yeah, I promise you, I've been thinking about this for weeks, and I really want to see it. What? There's Devourers? Oh my goodness, Devourers as well? We're gonna see, and we saw a Defiler Mound as well. We could see the triple goo, ladies and gentlemen. The 3-color, the purple, red, green on the Protoss units, and he's got his Reaver spread out here. This is beautiful. The Corsairs, I'm sorry, the Devourers are coming in. He actually doesn't have enough Reavers, and he's gonna be forced back. The Corsairs are in play, but with the, no, actually, he doesn't have ensnare on them right now, so it's just direct attack between the Reavers and the Hydralisks, between the Corsairs and the Devourers, and it looks like both of the Zerg, no, it looks like the Hydralisks have won. A beautiful play, though, dropping down the disruption webs so that Savior's Hydras stopped attacking. He had to micro out of the disruption webs, but was still able to continue the attack as a result. And he's actually switched to mutas as well, unless those are going to be more Devourers. That's a possibility as well. Yeah, this is absolutely insane. We can see why this is one of the MSL top 100 games, ladies and gentlemen. This is crazy. This is like the pinnacle of PvZ. This is absolutely amazing. You can see all the acid spores sitting around on those Corsairs from before. It looks like the Corsairs were going to win the air battle, but the Reavers won. Oh, no, he's going to lose his shuttle. It pops instantly. It was on low hit points, and I think there might have been Reavers inside of it as well. Reach, oh, look at the shake of his head. He was going on a fishing expedition there to try and see if he could go back into that top right position and claim it again, but Savior was waiting for him. +2 Carapace, by the way, on those flyer units, on the Devourers, which is really pretty strong, actually, against the Corsairs. The Corsairs doing splash, or AoE damage. They have the +2 weapons right now as well, so they're kind of canceled out. But you really need, when there's a lot of Corsairs doing damage across an entire field, the armor is going to do a lot of good on there. And now Savior taking the bottom left position, putting out a bunch of static defense as well. He's got the money. He can do whatever he wants at this point. With 9 or 10 bases. I mean, this is just absolutely insane. That's why we're seeing the pinnacle of Zerg here as well. He's got the mutilates. Oh, we're going to see it. There's the plague. There's the acid spores. There's no ensnare to follow up, but 2 kinds of goo is enough. Half of those Corsairs have been severely diminished with the double spell attacks going on them. The acid spores, by the way, if you're not sure, acid spores are going to make it so that other units do additional damage. So the acid spores from the Devourers plus the Mutaglaive is a really, really extremely strong combination. The Plague, of course, damaging the health points. The shields, of course, are still in play, but the Corsairs don't have a ton of shields, so they're in danger of being popped pretty easily if they've gotten the acid spores and the Plague on them. They're just basically like waiting to pop. So in any case, we have Reach stuck on these 4 bases, trying to ramp up his production off of these 4 bases. But just look at the minimap. Look at the minimap, ladies and gentlemen. That tells the story. Savior has the entire freaking map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8 bases. He's getting a 9th right now. Reach is desperately trying to do some counterplay. He's going to go ahead and drop some units over at these side bases to slow them down. But Savior doesn't even need that base. He's got 8 other ones. And he's going to leave those Zealots there and go with it. And look at this crazy... Oh my goodness. And there's the Psy Storm on all the Devourers though. He's going to storm a few of his probes, but it's a worthy sacrifice to do damage down onto those. But the drop comes up as well. A storm goes down right on top of the drop. Disgusting piles of blood where the Hydralisks once lived. And it looks like he's out of storms. And there's another plague going on the Corsairs as well. But the Devourers are almost dead. Reach at the same time is running his shuttle up into the main base. It looks like he might have gone for an attack with the Reaver at the natural. Now he's going for the drones in the main as well. But it doesn't really matter if he loses his base. Reach can do kill off half of the economy in Savior. And he's still going to have 5 bases mining around the map at this point. So he really needs to protect his main as well. But the Devourers coming in to protect the Guardians, to protect the drop, going in with the Plague as well. Just so much stuff going on. This is absolutely crazy. And the Archon's going to come over. He plagues the Nexus on its way out with its dying breath that... I can't remember the name of Defilers for some reason. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Defiler doing some damage to the building there. So if he does go back in for another drop later, he'll be able to kill off that Nexus a lot quicker. Ultralisks are now out as well. Why not? You know what? I think we've seen every Zerg unit in this game. I think we've seen every single Zerg unit. Is there a unit? I'm trying to think if there is a unit that we haven't seen. I think we've seen them all. Which is kind of crazy. You almost never see that. We're missing a couple Protoss units still. The Scout and the did he just parasite a probe? Oh, here we go, and he's going in for another drop, I think. Yes, this is a rolling drop coming in. The Storms are on point, though. Beautiful positioning. The Reavers are there to clean up what the Storms cannot as well. Beautiful Storms just coating the area where the Overlords are dropping so that as soon as they drop out the units, and very, very little damage done. It looks like he lost 1 Reaver and maybe a cannon or something like that. So that drop could have been devastating if he hadn't been so well set up to deal with it. With just spellcasters, by the way. I mean, I guess if you consider a Reaver a spellcaster. But, anyway, Devourers just kind of surveying the land, I guess. I'm not sure what they're doing. Soaking up a Psy Storm. I think that might have been a little bit of a misclick there by Savior, but now he's going to try and bust down the front. He's got Hydralisk there as well. There's not a lot of cannons. He needs to storm those units right now. Where's the storm? Where's the storm reach? Has he used all the storms on the Devourers and he doesn't have any left for the Hydras? It doesn't matter. He has enough Zealots to do the task, and he does actually get some beautiful storms down. Reach is just such an absolute beast in this game. He is, I mean, I was talking earlier about how, this is 2006 as he watched up. He is playing absolutely beautifully. He is playing gorgeous StarCraft in this game. And the fact that Savior has 15,000 bases around the map, I'm actually going to count here. Reach is going to try and shut down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, at least 11 bases that I count right now. It's going to go down to 10, but It doesn't look just. I mean, the minimap again. Okay, this is it. Reach is pushing out with this force that he's managed to build up. He's gonna try and take out some of these bases, try and shut down the economy of Savior a little bit. If he can do that, while Savior's low on forces because he's lost a lot of units trying to bust him. There's the lurkers. That's the unit that we hadn't seen. Now we've seen every unit that Zerg can produce in this game, and Reach is going to lose this little attack force. I don't think he even has an observer here, but he just doesn't have enough forces to really deal with that situation. He's going to lose that force. He does take out the hatchery, takes out a lot of units, but again, you know, it doesn't really even matter at this point. Savior just has too much of the map. I mean, this is just like ridiculous. I mean, we're just going to see Sauron Zerg stomping all over Reach at this point. There's just nothing you can do. When the Zerg has 10 bases, there's just absolutely nothing you can do. Look at it, and there's those Guardians that we saw morphing earlier. They're going to come in here. Again, just absolutely magnificent storms blanketing across that flying force of Guardians. He's going to take out most of them, but he just doesn't have enough. There's too much stuff, and there's the GG coming in from Reach. GG indeed. Wow, and that, the VOD reset there, but that was just absolutely ridiculous. Wow, what a game! What a game! That was amazing. But just look at the minimap right now. Look at the minimap. Actually, can I even do, let me see if I can do a zoom in here. There we go. Look at this minimap. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's just covered in the white bases of the Zerg player, of Savior's, just absolutely. I mean, you can't really blame him for it. It's just, you know, when you're a Zerg player, you attack, and if your opponent's on the back foot, you take another base, right? But there was so many different attacks and back and forth and what have you that just, you know, every time Savior had a little bit of extra money, he'd just take another base, and Reach just couldn't do anything about it. And it started with the fourth base, I think. You know, Reach lost his third, and just kind of that, you know, it all came back to that early attack with the Mutalisks. Did a lot of damage. Reach wasn't prepared for it. He had gotten too greedy. He had delved too greedily, too deeply, and there really wasn't anything he could do about those Mutalisks. He was just a little bit too late on getting Corsairs up, and at that point, that's when Savior was like, all right, I'm 4 bases to 2. I've got the advantage, and he just never really let up. And you know, Reach, the Mantos, held off so much longer than anyone could be expected to. It's just absolutely astounding that he was able to hold out for so long and fight back. And, you know, every time Savior came in to kill him, he said, well, you know what? I've got 10 Corsairs. And going around the map and keeping Savior back a little bit with the Sair Reaver. Beautiful Sair Reaver play with the Disruption Web. Just crazy play. But, you know, from that early point on, Reach just never really was able to get back into the game economically. Savior just had too much stuff, so that every time Reach pulled off a really cool maneuver with Sairs and Reavers at a base, Savior's like, well, I'm just going to put up 2 more, you know, and he ended up with the entire map. I think every base on this map was taken at some point. So we saw this is two absolute rarities in this. Every base on the entire map was taken at some point. Of course, all but 4 of them were taken by Savior. And we saw every single Zerg unit in this game as well. Did we see drones? Actually, maybe we're missing drones. No, I think he might have made a drone or 2. Okay, yeah, I think he made drones. Okay. But I forgot about lurkers for a minute there. But then Savior was like, oh, you thought this is everything? Here, let me show you some lurkers also. I have this like sneaking suspicion that there may be something I'm missing, but I think that's pretty much it. So every air unit. I think we saw every ground unit as well. Yeah, crazy stuff. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks very much for watching. And you know what? It may not come to pass, my prediction of the Disruption Web, but I think it should. It just, for me, you know, I'm not a pro player, so I could be wrong about this. There could be some reason that I'm missing, but it just feels like if you have 9 Corsairs, or, you know, something like that in a PvZ game where you've gone 2 Stargate. Like, if you're going 4 or 5 Corsairs, I don't expect you to get Disruption Web. But Now it is a pretty big investment to get the, it's 300, 200 for the fleet beacon, and I don't know exactly how much the disruption web upgrade is, but we're talking 500, 500. It's a significant investment, but look how much he was able to use it, because those Corsairs, what you often see in PvZs in the very late game is the Zerg has switched over to ground forces, and they're all Hydras. And then you've got these Corsairs just sitting around doing nothing. All they're doing is just making sure the Zerg can't switch back into mutas. But they're actually not functioning at all in any battles. And sometimes they run around and kill overlords or whatever. But they're basically just doing nothing, and they're just a waste of space. And then at minute 20, they go overlord hunting and they lose the Corsairs for no reason because they need to clear up supply. So a 500 mineral investment to make it so that those 9 or 10 or 11 Corsairs actually can have a significant effect in the battle, where you can lay down disruption webs across sunken colonies, where you can lay them down across a field of Hydralisks and make it so that your forces can fire on the Hydras but they can't fire at you. I feel like that would be a huge advantage in certain situations, and so I want it to happen. I think it's one of those things like Queens used to be, where people just didn't do it because they didn't do it. Said, "Oh well, no one does it, so I'm not gonna try. I'm just gonna go with what I know." So maybe if Flash switches to Protoss, he'll be able to innovate enough to do something like that. Sometimes it takes a player like Zero, who's just really innovative, to show people what's possible. But anyway, I'm gonna call it now, though. Again, calling it now. This is I'm recording this December 7th. Of 2020. Sorry, I'm laughing because I'm trying not to make Pearl Harbor jokes about StarCraft. But anyway, yeah, I think that we're gonna see Protoss get disruption web at some point in high level games. All right, I've been rambling for a while now, but that's because this was an amazing game, and you know what? I haven't casted a game in like a week or so. It's been a while, and so I'm excited to get back into casting some more Brewer games. Good to see y'all, and I am actually going to be doing a lot more streaming coming up as well. So if you're still listening, that means you must be a Moletrap super fan, and you like me rambling. So follow my Twitch channel. I'm going to be doing some VODs and chill days. I'm not sure if I'm going to do Friday or Sundays or something like that, but I want to make that a regular thing where we just watch some old VODs. Instead of casting them, we'll just chill and like hang out and talk about them. And I'm going to be streaming some other games as well. So check that out if you are interested. And yeah, so anyway, that's going to do it for me. I'll stop rambling now. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again soon.